joining us here on YouTube. Be sure to check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com for everything Royal Caribbean related. RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us here. We are back home in a different room. It's a long story. You don't want to know, but thank you for joining us here on YouTube. Hello, everybody. We got so many friends in chat already. Yes! Lots of folks joining us, including Bill Coco with a giant super chat to start us off. Bill! You the man, Bill. Thank you, my friend. Writing just funding Matt's piggy bank. My brother, thank you so much. Thank you. We got Brad from Utah. Mike Pastore is here. Welcome. Kathy Drew, what's going on? Diane, hello. Tim Gallagher is here. Chance Carroll, what is going on? Welcome. Matt M. from Connecticut, hello. Robert Jaworski, good night, Mike. Don Goldstein, hello. Cindy Rendon, hello. Bob Wise, hello. We've got MJ in the house last night before heading back to China. Enjoy it, my friend. I hope you have a safe travels on your way out of there. So, JJ, which ship do you think most deserves a renovation? I think the ones that were scheduled for this year. Allure the Seas, Explorer the Seas, any of those that have not gotten them because they've been, delayed because of the of all the issues with, of course, COVID affecting everything. I see Brian McNichols is here. What's up, Brian? Hope everything is well. I wish that I could have you and Derek here to be arguing amongst each other. It's podcast gold. It's gold, Jerry, gold. Jennifer from Washington State, hello. Janice from Georgia, hello. KB in the UK, hello, Governor. Hello. Let's see here. We've also got Sarah Aquino from Puerto Rico. Buenas noches. Thank you for joining us here. Appreciate it. Let's see. So let's get to your questions, guys. Starting with Jorge's question. Do I know when is the meeting with the Vice President and the CDC? Jorge, it was scheduled for Friday, but unfortunately that was postponed due to President Trump contracting COVID-19 and the fallout related to that. So I'm not aware of a new date related to when that meeting has been rescheduled too. So I'm not sure on that. Randy Patrick with an epic super chat. Woo! 410 days till Harmony of the Seas group cruise November 2021. Love it, my friend. Randy says, Matt, what is the best onshore activity to do in Antigua? Ooh, Antigua's great because there's so many great beaches. You're going to a beach day there in Antigua. That is what you want to do there. Valley Church Beach is where I absolutely love going. It is one of the most beautiful beaches I've ever been to in my entire life. And I think you definitely want to consider going to Valley Church Beach. Randy, there's a review of it at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. It's from a number of years ago, but I think it still holds up. Cindy Randon says, Matt, so my cruise cancels again. Will I get future cruise credit again, or will I be out of luck? No. So what happened, Cindy, is if you had a cruise that was canceled and you got a future cruise credit, applied it, and then obviously rebooked a new cruise, you'll get the original future cruise credit back to you, reissued with a new expiration date, and any money you paid on top of that, Cindy, you'll get as a new future cruise credit. Now, if that is a situation where you have your original FCC and your new one because you had some money paid, at that point, you should ask them to merge them together to have one FCC. Make sure you do that. You can only do that when cruises are canceled, and that way you can consolidate what you have there. So it's very important. Tiffany Gore from Austin, Texas is here. Hello, Tiffany. We've got John from Queensland, Australia. Good night, Mike. Carlos, why do you think Royal Caribbean Group is taking so long to announce cruising for this November, December? I think, honestly, Carlos, part of it is that it's very much an evolving situation. You know, there's so many things changing on a daily basis, and I think they're trying to evaluate what to do because there's still a chance maybe they think cruises can happen there. I understand there's a lot of frustration, especially because, listen, it's October 5th today, I think, 6th, whatever today is. It's October. Some of the first cruises in November are less than 30 days away. You can make a really good argument, Matt, unless something's happening behind the scenes that we're not aware of. It doesn't seem at all likely or possible for these cruises to actually occur. That may be the case. I think what Royal is saying is, listen, if we cancel it today or we cancel it on Friday, it's the same difference in the grand scheme of things. Not to mention, guys, from everybody's standpoint here, if you still have a cruise booked for November, you have a couple choices, right? You could cancel on your own with the Cruises Confidence Program, get a cruise 100% future cruise credit. You could lift and shift it. Those options are available to you right now if you wanted to do so. But if you're saying, Matt, I want my money back, okay, wait for Royal Caribbean to cancel on you, because that very well could be the case. And if they, I think everybody, if you've got a cruise in November or December, your best bet is always let Royal Caribbean cancel on you, so that way you get the maximum amount of flexibility in terms of your options there. So, next, where are you? You're not in your normal set. That's correct. I'm actually in my house. I'm in a different room. We came back to our house. Our new floors are done, but we discovered water damage in one of the walls. So, in my office, of all places. So, I will not be in my room for a little longer. I hope to be back next week, but we shall see. Jared wants to know, do you prefer starboard or port side of the ship for your room? Completely irrelevant. Doesn't matter at all. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't even consider it. I arbitrarily pick a side. It doesn't matter at all. Let's see here. Michael, keeping my fingers crossed. I'll be on Anthem in 39 days. Nice. Hopefully you can make it there. Jonathan Jones, what do you think about the cruising resuming in November, considering the White House is involved now with Mike Pence leading the task force with cruise lines? You know, Jonathan, it's interesting because I think it has definitely shifted how I view what we see right now. What I mean by that is I feel like there is a whole lot of confusion on my part, especially as to who is making the decision. Is the CDC still making the decision? Is the White House overriding them? Are there... obviously, there's a game of politics being played here, right? That much is certain. But what happens, Jonathan, beyond that is a great question. And I'm not sure, honestly, what to expect, guys, because a lot of things could happen. We're kind of at the mercy of so many different, possibilities at this point. But I do believe that looking at things right now, there's the outlook on what is the linchpin, what is the deciding factor is not very clear as to, is the CDC still going to make another recommendation in 30 days from now and be like, hey, this is what should happen, and then the White House can intervene or not? Is the White House going to just simply insist that cruises actually begin November, or the no sail order ends, October 31st? Don't know. It's a good question. So, Eric Gator, is there sports betting in the casino on Adventure of the Seas? There is, yes. If you go to the cashier and ask about sports betting, they do offer it. I have bet on some sporting events on a Royal Caribbean ship. They don't offer it for every game, but any big game, they'll absolutely offer it on board. You just have to ask for it. So yes, the answer is yes. Brett writes, is the water damage due to the tears cried over canceled cruises? Number one, too soon. Number two, that's very funny, actually. Love that. Diane is here. Certain ships only go out of certain ports in Florida. Is that correct? If I want Symphony, I assume I will go out of Miami. To some extent, yes, Diane. Generally speaking, most ships are in a port for a fair amount of time, yes. There is sometimes a bit of musical chairs going on, as an example. Next summer, summer 21, Harmony of the Seas, which is in Port Canaveral, will go to Europe to get an upgrade, and not really an upgrade, just like refurb. Do some cruises in Europe because she's already there. Meanwhile, Allure will slide up, take her spot in Canaveral, and then when the summer season is over in Europe, Harmony comes back, and then Allure slides back down to either Fort Lauderdale or Miami. So to some extent, Diane, the answer is yes. To another extent, not so much. It's just a matter of scheduling more than anything, as opposed to, like, they don't go from, like, week to week in different ports, if that's your question. Nicholas is here. I heard Royal Caribbean is hiring crew members back to the ship. Do you think sailing can start? Any update on Wonder? Yeah, I mean, I've heard similar things. I haven't seen anything really firm or something I would really put my money on. But I have heard from a couple different people, and it could be legit or not, I'm not sure, that perhaps that crew are being brought back as early as sometime in mid-November. But I would characterize that, guys, as rumors. I wouldn't really run with it. I wouldn't bet anything yet. I would just simply say that it's something to keep an eye on. Michael S. is here. What's up, Michael? Hope you're doing well. Michael says, if we have to take a COVID test a few days before the cruise, how can we submit the results to Royal Caribbean? My understanding, Michael, this is based on something Royal Caribbean said. I think it was a recent something. I believe Richard Fain said this, Michael. It was said in the last week. In fact, yes, I know it was. It was during it was one of the press events. Anyway, long story short, Michael. Yes, there will be an electronic means of submitting it to them. Richard Fain made a joke about nobody has like paperwork anymore. It's all electronic anyway. But you basically forward your results over to them via some sort of a system that you get it. Hello, Cecilia. Welcome. Do you know if there's going to be diving courses as there used to be? It's a good question. I don't know, Cecilia. That's a great question. There's so many of the onboard activity and offering options that we just simply won't know the answers to until cruising does actually resume. So, Cano Melendez, are you going to use Puerto Rico as a home port? I think anything that's on the schedule right now is still going to be on the schedule until further notice. You shouldn't assume anything's changed. And I know that Royal Caribbean, in fact, just announced, last week, that Vision of the Seas is going to sail out of San Juan in 21, including the summertime. So the answer is yes. Kim says COVID tests are done at the port, correct? We're not sure on that, Kim. At the recommendation was that a passenger should conduct their own test at home before they start traveling, sometime between 5 days and 24 hours before their cruise. In addition to that, the other recommendation was that Royal Caribbean, or any cruise line for that matter, offer testing at the port. But Kim, it has not been specified yet. This is a very important distinction because it's very easily overlooked, and I'm not pointing you out, Kim, I'm just saying in general, right? The recommendations, the 74 recommendations from the Healthy Sail Panel are from that. They're from the Healthy Sail Panel, and what that means is this is an independent group of health experts that came up with like how they would approach or recommend cruise lines resume cruising. On that note, now it's up to the cruise lines to take those recommendations and turn them into rules, and that's what we're waiting on, Kim. So the answer to your question is we got to wait a little bit longer, but I can only tell you what the recommendations were based on what the Healthy Sail Panel said. So, Linda in Florida, hoping to be sailing on Harmony since November 8th as a Casino Royal free cruise. What do they offer me if it is canceled? Nothing. If you got a free cruise, Linda, you got a free cruise. And if that particular sailing is canceled, there's no like recompensation. They can't compensate you for free cruise. However, Linda, before you get upset about that, the good news is I have seen Casino Royale is in fact still offering future free cruises down the line. So you just have to wait for a new offer. Essentially, that's how that works. Adam Callahan, are there any cruises coming back to Norfolk? Not from Royal Caribbean, no. I think maybe Carnival was thinking about doing that, but I'm not aware of anything else. Let's see here. Carlos, what is the average amount of time between refurbs on all Royal Caribbean ships? 5 years. Every 5 years, ships have to be refurbished. This is like, we're not talking about like adding water slides and all that kind of stuff, Carlos. We're talking about under the hood work. It's like bring your car in for an oil change every 5,000 miles. Well, cruise ships have to go every 5 years. Now, sometimes they'll tie that into not only under the hood work, but also actual ship upgrades, new restaurants, water slides, all those kinds of things. And that's a whole different ballgame, Carlos. I don't know what the average time is between that, but hope that makes sense. Nicholas wants to know, will we have to pay for a test, or will Royal Caribbean pay for the test? I don't know, Nicholas. It's too early to know the answer on that one. So, Jason and Cozumel, Nachikogam or Paradise Beach need shade and kid-friendly. Then I would go to Paradise Beach. No question about it, Jason. There's more for kids to do at Paradise Beach than at Nachi. So, yeah, definitely the way to go. Sarah Aquino, would you have any news of Enchantment of the Seas sailing out of San Juan on November 21? Unfortunately, no, Sarah. I have no other updates about any cruises. You guys may have seen some other cruise lines making announcements. In fact, Norwegian Cruise Line made their announcement earlier today. But there's been no other announcement by Royal Caribbean. I actually wrote a blog post about that there is no update. That's at royalcaribbeanblog.com. But Sarah, if there is an update, I will promise you I'll get that update out on the blog as soon as I can, as fast as I can. But thus far, Royal Caribbean has not made any announcements about their November or December or any cruises beyond October 31st. So, let's see here. We've got Misty going on a back-to-back November 21st Freedom of the Seas. I hope you get to go on your cruise. That'd be fantastic. Deborah says, if they get approval to start sailing, will they have the cruise back and ready to cruise November 2nd? That's a good question, Deborah. I don't know. That's like, it's very much a possibility that, or it's a logistical issue that simply they don't tell the crew, or they don't tell the public. I will tell you this much, Deborah. Number one, when they restart cruising, number one, and Royal Caribbean has said this even today, they said it again. When cruising restarts, guys, it's not going to be 26 ships. It's just simply not going to be. When they restart cruising, it's going to be a couple ships to start with, just a couple sailings, nothing, not the whole fleet. They'll build up from there. And that's, Deborah, I'm not even sure that's good news or not for you, to be perfectly honest. But getting the cruise back, they can do that within a month, but again, there's a lot of more moving parts there. So it remains to be seen, Deborah. I would tell you this much, guys. Number one, you have to remember, we don't have access, or we're not privy to everything that's happening at headquarters, right? For all we know, they're already on like step 8 of like restart. They just haven't said anything yet. I don't know how realistic that is or not. I'm not trying to paint a rosy picture or a pessimistic picture of these things. I'm just trying to tell you guys we don't have a full picture. We don't have a full view of what to expect. That being said, anything is possible, but it certainly doesn't look great because you would think that if they are going to restart with a firm plan, that they're going to have a little more of an announcement, a little more pomp and circumstance, and I'm certainly not getting that vibe either. But yeah, unfortunately, it is what it is. Tony Diaz with the super chat. Thank you, Tony. Round of applause. Thank you, Tony. Tony says, spoke to Jobu. He wants to get out of the box you put him in. I think he's in the garage, actually. Is he in the garage or is he upstairs? He might be upstairs. He might actually be in air conditioning. So Jobu should enjoy his little time off there. But don't worry. I'm hoping, Tony, a week from now. Gosh, I really hope a week from now. I'll be back in my office. I'm in this, obviously, the spare bedroom we have here. It's not the same, guys. I know you guys miss Alf and Jobu and Teddy Ruxpin and Speak and Spell and all that fun stuff, but we'll get it back there. So, Don says, sorry if you've been asked this before. Don, never apologize for asking me something you might have been asked before. I've asked the same question 1,000 times. Doesn't bother me at all. I'm just glad, Don, that you were here. Don writes, how do you see dining and drinking on cruises from this point on? That's a good question, Don. I would assume, and I'm basing this assumption on a combination of two things. One is what the Healthy Sail panel said, and also what I'm seeing outside, like in theme parks, as an example, Don. And I think that number one, obviously, if you're sitting at a restaurant, if you're sitting at a bar or a lounge, that you will not have to wear a mask because you'll be sitting there doing this, right? You'll be like, right? You'll be having your drink. That was a lame excuse, Don, for me to get a sip of water. You'll be eating. And the Healthy Sail panel said that if you're seated for a restaurant or at a bar or a lounge, those should be configured for social distancing, so masks are not required at that point. Beyond that, I don't know how that all plays out, everything else. I know that's very much a loaded question because there's so much more that goes into that. But, yeah, that's kind of where it is right now. So, Diane says, where's my crystal ball? No crystal ball. I do have a Magic 8 Ball, but that is definitely up in storage. And let's face it, guys. We don't want to hear from the Magic 8 Ball because the Magic 8 Ball has been just straight up mean. I mean, I don't know if it's a he or she. I shouldn't assume genders. The Magic 8 Ball he just always comes up with bad predictions right there. So, Keith, any updated announcements about the status of Odyssey of the Seas? No, Keith, that's a good question. There hasn't been. In fact, there wasn't even a webcam photo update either this week or last week. That could change, obviously, later this week, but nothing to report on that. Peter says, let's theorize. Do you think there will be a significant price increase as ships have reduced capacity? No, I don't think so. I think they're still going to be facing lower demand, and I just don't think they have I don't see that happening. I could be wrong, but I don't see that happening personally, in my opinion, based on my gut. Allison, can we go to the beaches if we cruise? At least in the beginning sailings, Allison, you'll have to book an excursion through Royal Caribbean, but that could be the case. But in the early sailings, you won't be able to simply get off the ship and do whatever you want. That being said, eventually you will be able to go do whatever you want. It's just they have to build up from there. They can't go back to the overarching guidance from the Healthy Sail panel is you can't go back to what it was like in 2019 or February 2020 immediately. You just can't pretend this never happened and just resume cruising like that. It's going to be a slow process to go from just a couple of ships at first, build up, expand out as things are as the procedures are locked in place and are doing well, as new treatments, as the vaccine comes out, as all these other factors are helping to not only reduce COVID-19 from a public health emergency, but also the procedures and protocols on board are helping keeping guests and crew safe on board. There'll be more liberties, more expansion of opening up cruises beyond that. But it's going to be a process for a little bit. There's no doubt about that. Clan O'Morrigan, do you think there will be harder or longer getting the U.S. cruise ports reopened for departures, or the islands they visiting are green to let ships coming back? That's a good question, Clan. And I will say this, and this is not based on anything this isn't factual evidence. This is now an opinion. But I do believe that a lot of the islands are willing to play ball. The Bahamas, in fact, just recently completely changed their policy for allowing people to come to their islands from a mandatory quarantine period. They've dropped the mandatory quarantine. Now it requires a positive or I guess a negative test that they don't have COVID-19 to go there. So I think that there's going to be a little bit. I think when the cruise lines are ready, there's definitely going to be at least some islands that are going to be like, yeah, we're ready to take you back. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, business kind of dominates a lot of these things. So. Al, are there any excursion restrictions reports of call? Yeah. So at least in the beginning, Al, and I don't know how long this will last. This could last a week, it could last a month, it could last a year. I don't know. But at least in the beginning, you will be required, if you want to go on shore, to only go on a Royal Caribbean approved excursion. But that's for a temporary period. Royal Caribbean said that up and down, so don't worry, it's not forever. But at least in the beginning, yes, you'll be restricted to Royal Caribbean excursions. Deborah, selling on November 2nd on Mariner. How soon will they actually announce cancellations? Good question, Deborah. I don't know. There's no telling. I mean, they could wait till the day before. That would be awful. I hope they don't wait that long, but they certainly could. And what I would tell you to do, Deborah, is you're flying in. I get that. Here's what I would tell you to do. If you're getting to a point where you can't cancel your airfare anymore, or, you know, like you've got like a window of time, before you get to that window of time, Deborah, if you get to a point where like, Matt, I have to cancel this or else, I would cancel it, cancel your airfare, and then cancel your cruise. Taking advantage of the Cruise with Confidence program, which allows you to get either a 100% future cruise credit, no penalty. Just tell them, hey, I'm not going to go on this cruise anymore. Boom, you're good on that. Or you can do lift and shift, which allows you to just take the existing cruise reservation you have, move it to next year, same time, similar itinerary, and you're good to go on that. So don't feel like you have no choices in this matter, especially if you are, I understand airfare, obviously you paid for that, and if there's a window of time you have to make a decision to cancel or not, I would highly recommend that you definitely pull that trigger as soon as you feel like you're up against that wall, proverbially. Whether that's today or next week, I don't know. But don't let Royal Caribbean dominate this in this situation. Once you start feeling uncomfortable with it because of your airfare situation, you know, cancel that cruise. Keep that in mind. Anthony wants to know, does the Royal Caribbean app work without ship Wi-Fi? Yes. You don't have to purchase you do not have to purchase a Wi-Fi plan in order to use Royal Caribbean's app. So. Joe Chikario says, the Magic 8 Ball is like the CDC. It's mean. So you're not wrong on that. Bob Wise, what about people who have medical issues and can't wear a mask? They did say the Healthy Sail panel did say, of course, you know, if there's someone who has a legit medical issue there, that would be addressed on a case-by-case basis, Bob. So, Jason Peters says, tender ports like Belize and Grand Cayman, should I book excursions through the cruise line, or it doesn't matter? Well, I guess it depends on when you're looking. I mean, tendering is a bit of a challenge. Grand Cayman, not so much. Grand Cayman is pretty close. It's like a 2-minute tender ride. Belize is a really far one, right? You can certainly do it on your own, Jason. I've done it on my own in Belize. I've also done it through the cruise line. The cruise line is peace of mind. This is true of tendering ports and any ports for that matter. But what I think the more interesting thing today, I might look at just Royal Caribbean, Jason, for one reason only, and that is because we don't know when they might remove that restriction about shore excursions. So I think you'd probably be better off, at least right now, booking the excursion if you're looking to book something, maybe it's a great deal or you don't want it to sell out, through the cruise line itself. So, let's see here. These are great questions, guys. Thank you for sharing all these. Brian McNichols, if you and I end up on the same restart cruise, will a restraining order be involved, and which one of us will file it? Brian, it has been so long, I've forgotten how annoying you are, so I will be looking forward to being on the same cruise together. I'll give you a hug, we'll take a selfie, we might have a drink together, it'll be great. And then I'll send a DM when I get back to my cabin to Mr. Derek Bergen saying, you were right. Greg and Dobbs. Sorry, Greg and Dobbs. Hey, Matt, can we see the... Oh, we can't. We'll try this again. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but we have to respect the science. Wishing you many, many cruises in 21 and beyond. Greg and Dobbs in Seacliff, Long Island, New York. Couldn't agree more, Greg. Couldn't agree more. And again, this goes back to something, Greg, you mentioned, that Royal Caribbean said even today. You saw the guys may have seen that video I posted earlier today on our YouTube channel from Richard Fain, Royal Caribbean Group Chairman and CEO, saying, listen, they're not like just going to get back. They're not going to rush back to service for the sake of rushing back to service. They want to get it right. They want it to be safe. And so they're going to make sure they cross every T, dot every I, and they're good on that point. So that's the important thing right there. And I agree, Greg, with what you said, and it sounds like Royal Caribbean does as well. By the way, guys, if you haven't, I don't know how you found this video. I guess Anyway, it doesn't matter. If you haven't already, subscribe to our channel down below. I don't know, sometimes people are joining us for the first time, which is fantastic. Welcome. My name is Matt. I'm from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That's that little bell icon right next to the subscribe button. You click on that, and basically YouTube will let you know when I go live or I post a new video. They'll be like, hey, it's one email. It's not annoying or anything like that, but that way you don't miss out. Paul Somerville says, I see theme cruises like 80s music and Star Trek. Besides a podcast cruise, what theme would interest you? Ooh, 80s. I would love an 80s one. I'm a bit of a nerd. I wouldn't mind Star Trek. I love the idea of like dressing up. Like, I'm not into LARPing. That's a bit much for me. What would be like, I'm trying to think of like one that I've seen where I'm like, yeah, that's a good cruise idea, right? I mean, the 80s cruise I think is kind of fun. You know, I mean, I was a young kid in the 80s, but I mean, I was there for it. So I think it would be kind of nostalgic to do something like that. So I wouldn't mind an 80s cruise. I think that'd be kind of, so yeah, there you go. For lack of imagination, Paul, I'll go with your answer, an 80s cruise. I think that's a great one right there. Batman wants to know, I can't do my Batman voice. When will Oasis in the Seas reveal their itinerary for 2021? Because we're looking to get back on Oasis. Oh gosh, that hurt my voice. Batman, Oasis of the Sea sailings for 21 are out. I'm not sure what you mean by that, because you can book all the Oasis 2021 cruises are available to book right now. Kirk Overstreet, why are you not on Royal Caribbean's board, or at least their spokesperson? Nobody called me. I got my phone right here, Kirk. No one's called me, so here I am. I'm talking to you guys instead. I had a question here from... I'm not sure. Oh, there's a question. Timothy Varn says, if you have to choose between canceling and making final payment on a cruise that hasn't been canceled yet, what's your advice? My advice, Timothy, is you have to ask yourself, do I want to go on, do I really want to go on this cruise? And I mean that in the nicest way possible. But, if you're sitting there and say, Matt, I would absolutely go on this cruise tomorrow if it was available, that's not an issue, then make final payment on it. I mean, listen, you're going to get your money back if it's canceled, and if it's not canceled, you're going on the cruise. But if you're saying, Matt, I'm not sure, dude. I mean, listen, besides the fact that it's not clear if this cruise is actually going to sail, I'm not sure I want to lay out the money for it, I'm kind of concerned about some of the rules and regulations or how the first couple of cruises are going to go, then I would say cancel it. That's really the gut check you need to have in order to make a decision about what you should or should not do there. So, hey, Sharon Stockman is here. Hello, Sharon. Welcome. Happy Monday to you. Joseph says, do you think the Northeast ports like Cape Verde and Baltimore will be some of the last ports to reopen? You know, that's a good question. People have been asking that for a while, Joe. I'm not sure, because don't forget, this is obviously, it depends on how who controls the ports and whatnot. I am not sure on that, Joe. It's a good question. On the one hand, obviously some of these northern states like New Jersey and Maryland have been a little more restricted than some of the states in the south, like Florida. On the other hand, they have far less cases up there. So I don't know. I don't know how to peg that, quite frankly. So, Glenn says Matt wants to work on fixing Royal Caribbean's website, not their board. Now that I work on so little history. Before I did Royal Caribbean blog full time, I was a web developer. Now I do Royal Caribbean blog full time. I gotta be honest with you, I don't miss doing web development. Web development was fine, but I kind of been there, done that kind of thing. You know what I mean? So, Eric, the wrestling cruise, Mega Powers themed cruise. That would be a bad idea. The problem with most wrestling meetups or events of that nature, they seem to be kind of like the older wrestlers that are kind of out there a little bit, but depends who's on the card. Let's put it that way. Queen, the glamorous travel queen, I'm patiently waiting for the remainder of the 2022-2023 itineraries to be released. Yes, I would say Queen, if I had to bet when that might come out, expect it maybe November timeframe of this year. That'd be, historically speaking, when they usually come out. Matt says, think my 10-year anniversary cruise for April will be a go. I'm not sure, dude. I hate to tell you that, but the honest answer is I don't know. I would tell you that there's just simply not enough information and too many variables to certainly make that kind of a prediction for you. I certainly hope so. That's a long time from now. One would hope it would go, but I don't think anybody expected there to be no cruises from March through now October, right? I mean, if you had said that, if you come in my chat in March and said, Matt, there will be no cruises until at least November, I would have laughed you out of the room. I probably would have, I don't know how to ban you, but I would have been like, you are crazy. Guys, tell this person he's crazy. But Hey, Mark the Shark, welcome. Corey, what's your opinion on Mariner of the Seas? Love it. Melody, any day Royal Caribbean doesn't offer more sailings to Panama Canal? That's a good question, Melody. Primarily because they don't do cruises off the West Coast anymore. Because there's no cruises out of Los Angeles, there's no need to get cruise ships back and forth. Panama Canal cruises for Royal Caribbean have always been means to an end. It's an opportunity to get a ship from point A to point B. Since they aren't offering cruises in LA, there's no reason to send them over there, so they don't do that. The cruise ships that go to Alaska now come from like Australia and China, so they don't have to worry about that. So it's Melody. Honestly, the answer is it's not practical for them to offer it. They just don't. Yeah, that's the answer right there. So, Paul, would it be cheaper to buy the Wi-Fi package by combining it with the drink package, or what's a better deal? Good question, Paul. It depends. Sometimes it is cheaper to do the combo deal. Sometimes it's not. Unfortunately, you got to get out the calculator and you got to figure it out. I've seen many times where sometimes the combo deal is better. Sometimes it's not. It really depends on the promotion being offered at the time. It's lame, I know, but it's not a firm answer, Paul. Benjamin Berger, good evening. Lisa is here. Lisa, how are you? We got to catch up, Lisa, sometime. Lisa writes, I keep YOLO booking it. I'm not even worried, upset that they probably going to cancel our December cruise. 11 nights on Jewel. More FCC for me. There you go. There's the right attitude right there. Hope all is well with you, Lisa. Thank you for joining us here today. Aristotle, hello and welcome. Kirk, how often do the port fees rise year over year? That's a good question. I don't know. They do rise. They definitely do change. In fact, Kirk, I've definitely had situations where we booked a cruise at one point, and later on, maybe I had my kids or my parents wanted to join me, and the cost went up because the fees went up. But annually is probably a safe bet. I'm not sure how often, quite frankly, but more often than you think, probably. Cassie Ortigan says, my kids are super excited about our upcoming spring break on Harmony. Let's hope you get to go on that cruise because our spring break cruise was canceled this year. Womp womp. But I hope you get to go on yours. So, Jason, is cruising dead? No, it's just in deep hibernation right now, but it will come back. There's no doubt about that. It's just a matter. It's a question of when, right? We're really in the Groundhog Day stage. I think the groundhog saw its shadow, guys. I got to be honest. So it's probably another 6 weeks of winter, but we'll get there eventually. David Lucas is here. Matt should really come down under and check it out. Crikey, mate, you want me to come down under? Down to Aussie? I would love to get down to Australia, David. I will go down to Australia as soon as they invent Star Trek transporters. I am not going on a 24-hour flight. So, Kathy says, I like Lisa's attitude. I think we all agree. Lisa's attitude is the best attitude, right? That's what you gotta have at this point. Otherwise, you're just gonna depress yourself, quite frankly. So, Zane says, I've heard there are very good cruise deals on Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I know it's over a month away, but what type of deals can we expect to offer? Good question. Sorry about coughing on Mike. Number one, there are deals offered or promotions offered. Whether or not they're a deal, whole different story. So, two things. Number one, you can view old Black Friday deals by going to RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. If you go to RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, search for Black Friday. I have Black Friday deals going back for years. That's I think the benefit of the blog. You can look at past benefits and promotions being offered. That being said, Zane, I don't think it's a good deal. Or let me put it this way. I don't think you should wait. I think if you're like, hey, Matt, I'm looking for a book a cruise. I'm looking to book a drink package. Don't try to time it. Don't be like, ooh, I'm going to wait for Black Friday. Nope, that'd be a mistake. What you should do instead is actually book it now, lock in that price. If there is a better deal on Black Friday, you can always cancel and rebook, take advantage of that discount. But if it's not a better of a deal, then you obviously already booked the better price and you'll have locked in and guarded against a price increase. The last couple of years, especially last year, the deals were a solid meh. Now, I will point out, what's the difference between last Black Friday and this Black Friday? That was before COVID. And the promotions in general this year have been a whole lot better because Royal Caribbean is a little more desperate, I think, for the business. All that being said, I still think my original advice applies. If you want to book something, book it now, lock in the price. You can always cancel and rebook later on. So, there you go. Hey, Charnel, welcome. Eric Gator, do you know why the Royal Caribbean gift website doesn't work? I'm not sure. A lot of the stuff on the Royal Caribbean gift website, Eric, got shifted over to the Cruise Planner anyway, so check on there. Eric, John Sturgeon, hello and welcome. Glad to see you here. Don Goldstein says, you know what? If you want to go to Australia, Matt, just stop in Hawaii for a few days. Yeah, but it's still the plane ride, dude. I wouldn't be able to enjoy it, because every time I sit in Hawaii, I'm like, hey, this is great, I'm in Hawaii, and then I'd be like, oh god, I have another. Like in the back of my mind, dude, it would just be like a constant merry-go-round of like, you got a flight in like 3 days, you got a flight in 2 days, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be able to fully enjoy it. Steve Cohen says you need to fill that cup up with alcohol, right? Maybe after the broadcast, guys. You never know. Paul, are the port workers baggage security and check-in employees of the cruise lines, or are they port authority? The port workers, baggage security, most of them are not through Royal Caribbean. If they're with Royal Caribbean, they have the same name tag you would see on board a ship. Most of them, like the people that are the usually the retired folks that are helping you at check-in, where's your papers? Those are employed by the port, or more specifically, there's actually a company called, I believe, what is it, Cruise Line International or something? There's some company. Anyway, they're through a third party. Everything, porters, third party, those are all union workers anyway with the port. The people that work for Royal Caribbean or the cruise line are usually the check-in agents. They're the ones that actually have a name tag that looks like a Royal Caribbean name tag. The photographers, things like that. But a majority of the people that you see in the port and outside the port don't work for the cruise line. They work for the port or for a third party that the port employs. It's a good question, actually. Hey, Fred Parker is here. Check the group cruise for Norway. Prices are very high right now, so many will wait for your future group cruises. Please schedule a short one or a 4 or 5 day one. Fred, thanks for the info. You know what? I'm not sure we'll do quite a short one like that. I don't know, Fred. I haven't really decided. But I will tell you this. We did a short group cruise in 2019. We did actually 3 and a 4-nighters. You could book either or both. And what happened was, to be perfectly honest with you, most people didn't book them because they didn't think it was worth flying down for traveling for that short of a cruise. But listen, Norway ain't cheap. You're not mistaken. Norway, European cruises in general are always going to cost a little bit extra. Same is true for Alaska and other, kind of more exotic destinations. But I think that they're worth it in a lot of cases. So we'll have other cruises that'll be a little more affordable, no question about it. But it's good feedback. Thank you. Dave says, if we can come up with the flights to and from Australia, if we can come up with flights to and from Australia that isn't crammed in 24 hours, will you speak to MEI to make it happen?
No.
Jamie, 100% cruise credit or lift and shift, your choice, and why? Jamie, I would say lift and shift. If you can make a lift and shift work for you, it's a better deal. You'll probably save money because you get to lock in your 2020 price for a 21 cruise. And if the price is higher for 21, that's a better deal right there. If not, they can take the future cruise credit. Of course, if you can't make it, the lift and shift worked, if you don't want to go the same week or it's not being offered, then obviously the future cruise credit. Stephanie Holiday says, how can you tell if there's a better deal on the drink package? When I sign in, it just says my deluxe drink package is currently already booked. It doesn't say what the current price is. I believe if you click through it, you'll be able to see the price on there. It's kind of wonky. Sometimes they do that, Stephanie. Sometimes they don't. I don't know why. Anyway, long story short, you can still see it if you go through and click through and check it out there. Marion says, I check the cruise planner weekly and check for shore excursions and drink package. That's the way to do it right there. That's great. Ex-Captain Mike, what's up, dude? Is booking on board a ship for your next cruise a better deal than doing on the web or a travel agent? Yes. So you can work, by the way, if you book a cruise on board a ship, Captain Mike, you can still work with the travel agent. You will basically get free onboard credit. The price will be exactly the same. Like if you, the first day of your cruise, Mike, you look at the price at home, you go on board the ship and you check with, a next cruise, it's the same price. The difference is you get free onboard credit, extra onboard credit for doing so. So, yes, so here's what I would say, Mike. If you're sitting on the cruise ship and you're like, Matt, this is a great cruise. Let's do another cruise with Brian McNichols, right? When we go down to the next cruise, that's a great opportunity to book it right there. And they can still attribute it to your travel agent. It's all good. But if you're sitting at home right now, like you are, because no one's on a cruise ship right now, and you're saying, I got a cruise booked in January. I'm going to wait to book my cruise on my next cruise on board my ship. That would be a mistake because prices will probably go up by then, thus negating whatever benefits you get with the future cruise credit. So, Diane, I had to step away for a few minutes, so if you already mentioned this, I apologize. Never apologize. I'm just glad you were here, Diane. My concern with the FCC is that when someone's sailings resume, the prices are twice as high, and the FCC just doesn't cover it. Well, the FCC would. Oh, I see what you mean by cover. Right. Then have you considered lift and shift? Because that way, with lift and shift, Diane, you can take your price you paid for 2020 and apply it for the same time frame next year at the price for 2020. Now, that being said, yes, you could. If that doesn't work, you're right, but you're still going to go on vacation next year, right? You're still going to, at least with FCCs, you can be a little more flexible, and I'm sure you can find something that works for your budget. So, Dennis, Matt, does Rockerbeat offer shuttle services to and from Fort Lauderdale Airport? They do, but Dennis, well, I don't know which port you're coming to, but yes, they do. You can also go on your own, dude. Like Lyft, Uber, that's what I would do. It's just so much easier. So, Queen, have you had the Royal Genie experience yet? I have not. I have been in rooms with them. Other people have had Royal Genies in Star Class. I have interacted with their genies. I've seen what they do. It looks amazing, but I have not actually done it myself. So, hope that makes sense. That one AV, I don't understand why people think the cruise industry should never recover. Cruises are so fun. Absolutely true. Unfortunately, AV Geek, there's a lot of unhappy people out there on the internet. There's people that are trolls. They're just looking to rile other people up. And more importantly than that, there's a lot of people who simply have never been on a cruise before, have made prejudgments about cruising based on who knows what, and are simply anti-cruise that ever have given it a chance. It's like saying simply like, I don't like New York City, or I don't like pizza, or I don't like roller coasters, without ever actually experiencing any of those things. Cruising is one of those things. There's so many misconceptions out there in the public that a lot of people are simply never give it a shot, and thus they kind of come up with they hear certain tropes and certain urban legends about cruises that are simply not true, and they believe it because they've never been on it, and they believe that to be the reason not to go on it. So it's unfortunately a reality of kind of where we are right there. So yeah, it definitely does. It's not great, but it is what it is right there. I do recognize my audio is very low. Why is that? Stand by, guys. I'm going to try to bring up the audio level here in a little bit. Because it is really low, unless I talk like this, and then you guys can hear me. Open sound settings. I've been playing with this all day, and it's been a problem with this microphone. I'm not sure why. I think I just reboot the computer. All right, how about now? Is it any better now? Maybe the volume coming back to life? A little bit better now? I see the meter at least going up there. I'll minimize that. Let me know if the volume is better or worse. Better? I feel like the eye doctor. Better or worse? Way better. Good. I'm sorry about that, guys. Apologies. It drives me nuts. Tony Diaz, does Royal Caribbean on other cruise lines like Celebrity work the same way? Cancel drink package per set again at a better price. That's a good question today. I have no idea. I don't know that they all do that. So that's a good question. Al wants to know, will we be allowed to debark and meet up with our friends in Port Canaveral and Nassau? No. As of right now, Al, it appears not to be. But again, just like I told you before, that's very much a temporary policy that could change going forward. So, yeah, it's the empty room. I think you guys are right. The echo in the room is making it sound better. But, yeah. Okay. I'm glad it's much better now. Welcome. Now that I got it in 43 minutes in, like 5 minutes to go. Yeah, you guys might have to adjust your gain over there on your end to equalize it back out, but now that we have a couple minutes left, you can all hear me again. That's all right. I was just making sure you're all paying attention. All right, got time for another question or two, guys, and then we're heading on out. AV1 Geek, there's just someone in my notifications who believes every cruise ship is filled with COVID, and I'm like, no. Yeah, there's just... AV Geek, boy, it infuriates me because they not only believe that, but they just repeat it without obviously knowing anything. And unfortunately, it's just people are ignorant. They're ignorant about a lot of things. And best I can tell you, best advice, and this advice I give myself, is just ignore them. It's the only thing you can do. There's no point in feeding the troll, Donna says, I read that some workers on Royal Caribbean are getting their orders to report to their ships. Did you hear anything? I have seen a lot. I've read and heard, usually from third parties, so not firsthand, maybe second or third hand, that that is the case. Donna, I don't have anything yet that I would bet on. It's one of those things, Donna, that's it's like a good rumor, something to keep an eye on. But I'm not willing to say, yes, this is a sign of anything other than rumors. Because don't forget, guys, we're not privy to everything. For all we know, yes, there could be some workers that are, offered, an opportunity to come back, a letter of employment, and we hear about that. but then the letter of employment gets rescinded because the cruise line decides to cancel more cruises or whatnot, and they don't usually repeat that part, right? So, so Donna, long story short, I have heard those things. I just simply don't post about them or really repeat them all that much because I feel like I owe it to you guys that if I'm going to post anything at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, if I'm going to talk about anything here on our YouTube channel, that it has to be rock solid. I'm not going on rumor. I'm not going on speculation. At the end of the day, guys, I owe it to you to not mislead you and not feed you just rubbish. You know what I mean? Like, I want to make sure that what I'm telling you is, on the up and up. It's the most accurate information at the time possible. So that's why I have it here. And so it's okay to discuss here. Please, I'm not yelling at you or anything like that. So, Brenna with the super chat. Thank you, Brenna. And Sharon Stockman with an epic super chat. Woo! Thank you, Sharon. Sharon writes, beginning to doubt my 9-day Explore ABC Island cruise won't go because they'll start back with short cruises. Got it covered with the back-to-back next Christmas cruise card. We'll play for 1.5 of these. Hey, you got your bases covered right there, Sharon. Love that. That is fantastic. And thank you for your generosity, Sharon. As always, someday I will repay it. We'll do something. I'm not sure what on a cruise. We'll buy you a limo or something. Thank you, Sharon. And Brenna, thank you for your generosity as well. Really appreciate that. Melody says, the one statement that starts the quickest fight with me is when someone says cruise ships are petri dishes. Ugh, gosh, those are the worst. Yes. Fred says, so funny tonight. Wife laughing a lot and louder. There you go. Look at that. I'm keeping it real over here. Let's see. What else we got here? Diane says, I'm so tired of wearing a mask, but I'll gladly wear one if cruises, where did it go? Oh, if cruises resume, I'll even wear a mask with your face on it. That'll get people excited, right? Is that Brad Pitt on your face mask? No, that's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Huh, they look exactly the same. It's amazing. Tony Diaz, yes, thank you for reminding me. So guys, the Royal Caribbean Blog newsletter, if you haven't signed up for it yet, it's free to subscribe. Go to RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com/newsletter. You can subscribe to the newsletter. We put out our first email just yesterday, but don't worry about it. You can still sign up for it. And if you sign up between now and October 13th, just a couple days left, you can qualify for a giveaway I'm giving away one Royal Caribbean Monopoly game. Usually I'd point to it behind me, but it's not there. But trust me, it's in my house. It's just upstairs. Anyway, I'm giving away Royal Caribbean Monopoly, and the way to enter to be able to win is go to Royal Caribbean. Don't go to there. Go to RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com/newsletter. RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com/newsletter. Sign up for it, and you'll be able to be automatically entered to win one of those. So thank you, Tony, for reminding me about that. Kathy got her newsletter. Awesome. Love that. Lisa, I'm so glad the audio isn't just me. Just been messing with my computer. I'm sorry about that. I didn't realize it was quite that low. Someone mentioned it, and I looked at the meter, and it was like, beep, beep. It was very, very low. So sorry about that. AV Geek, I appreciate your blog a lot, Matt. I have a lot of them bookmarked for my research about Royal Caribbean's history. Nice. Awesome. Kirk, the Royal Caribbean port's going with the CDC and CLIA. That's a good question. Obviously, every Caribbean port, every country has its own regulatory body that controls a lot of those things. I think they're certainly paying attention to that, Kirk, but they do have their own, boards of health and whatnot that they address. I would assume that most of these, ministries of health and whatnot, departments of health, are probably certainly keyed into the conversations and the same sort of data that perhaps the CDC is looking at. But I've also seen very different, different conclusions reached depending on the port. But it's very much a cruise-specific thing. Michael S. subscribed to the newsletter. Nice. Chad, hello and welcome. Tony says, just pretend the headboard is the Monopoly game. Tony, there's enough people who think I'm crazy anyway. I don't need to be pretending that, like, hey, look at this great Monopoly game over there. Diane, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Guys, can you believe it? We have reached already almost an hour on here talking Royal Caribbean on our YouTube channel. Really appreciate it. Good news, by the way, is we have a brand new video coming out tomorrow. I think you're going to like this one. It is the top 10 weird Royal Caribbean rules. Ooh, check that out tomorrow. In the meantime, there's plenty for you waiting at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Number of new blog posts, including which specialty restaurant has been confirmed for Wonder of the Seas. There's lots waiting for you at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com for you to check on out. So, I know it's a week between broadcasts here on YouTube, but there is plenty of time, plenty of things, not plenty of time. There are plenty of things to keep you busy over at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com as well. So thank you guys for joining me here. I hope you have a great week out there. Stay safe, do something fun, and we'll talk again very soon right here on YouTube. Bye, everybody.